Half-Life is a game I have tried to play many times in my life. It's one of the first games I remember starting on Steam, buying it for a super cheap price on a sale with the leftover money I had from buying a game I had actually planned for with a gift card. At that time I probably never made it past the intro cutscene. I tried again later, where I would ultimately make it just past the intro into the freezer part of the game. The next time I would seriously try was when I bought Black Mesa, the fan remake of the game. I made it just to the point where you get outside for the first time, and then I stopped. This time, I would make it much further than I ever had before. Hi. But you can just simply call me Amazon. And today we try our hardest to not just jump past all the enemies with the greatest single movement system ever made, and actually play the game how it was intended and made over 25 years ago. You heard that right. Half-Life is over 26 years young now, released in 1998 for the personal computer by Valve, a company I don't need to say much about. But why would I pick Half-Life as one of the games to play in this series? First of all, I wanted another PC game. The first game in this series was Doom, the PC game. Then I did Metroid, and after that I did Mario twice in a row. Never really thought about that actually. So after Doom, what is the most important PC game? That's right, Minecraft. No, I mean Half-Life. But why? Why is Half-Life so special? This question is not as simple as it's the game that restarted the FPS genre after Doom. Instead, we need to look at what Half-Life does differently from Doom. In Doom, we shoot and kill stuff. We spam walls to find the occasional secret armor placement, and we pick up keys. Half-Life, in contrast, is cinematic and tries to give us a more quote-unquote realistic experience in first person. It gives us space to explore and look for secrets in a more interactive way. It also introduced gamers to more cinematic and realistic models, animations, and maybe most importantly, physics. Valve would expand on this to the nth degree, but it was introduced here. It also made enemies more worthy of respect than making them walking, constantly aggressive targets for the player to shoot. Half-Life instead made them somewhat intelligent. They seem to communicate, they throw grenades when you hide behind cover, and they move in a way that makes sense. Half-Life is also incredibly immersive, even today in some ways. It lets you, the player, experience everything. Very few moments, only a couple come to mind, force you into a cutscene or take control away from you. These moments are very important for the story. Yeah, Half-Life also has an actual narrative worth listening to. Before this, Quake 2, the pinnacle of first-person shooters and another game to add to the already huge list of games I need to play, was only really about shooting and killing stuff. Half-Life tries to do something else, by giving us narrative and downtime. There's pacing here. This isn't all of it, lots of other things makes this game special, but these are the biggest, and why Half-Life is a part of this series. So, Half-Life looks pretty dated. But not Metroid on the NES dated. Things look like the things they try to emulate, but are either cartoony and saturated or blurry and pointy. Sometimes all of these. Things are still very clear and simple to understand. The graphics really don't get in your way in that way, which is preferable. Parts of the game do look pretty bad though, I have to admit that. When it tries to go big, the skybox really doesn't sell it that well. And I can't help but to see Counter-Strike maps in the textures. The NPCs and world building are a lot of fun. All the scientists are voiced by like 3 dudes and they all look the same, but their personalities do shine through. Whoever voiced these guys obviously had lots of fun, and they did a good job for the most part. They tried to sound serious and realistic, but they all sound just kind of funny. The G-Man is the outlier here. I love how he sounds. Sort of alien almost. Great performance. I can't say I like the music here. There's not a single piece that jumps out at me except the one playing in the opening credits, but it definitely fits the game very well. Overall, Half-Life presents itself okay. It's not a 2D game made with sprites and pixel art, so it's obviously dated, but unlike many other games that try to do too much with too little, Half-Life never got in my way trying to push too much detail. It's simple and dated, but still more than readable. But graphics are far from the most important when we speak about Half-Life. Very far. The gameplay is where it's at. So, where is the gameplay at? Like, on a scale of good to bad. Let's find out. First, the shooting. The earlier parts of the game, where we get to fight simple zombies, head crabs and maybe a couple of simple aliens, is fine. Great even. I had fun trying out the different weapons, and melee seemed like a valuable side piece if my ammo was low. But the more advanced and more ranged enemies that got added to the roster, I had less and less fun. The game became look at the bottom of my screen to see if I took any damage from that simulator, and I felt like fighting stuff head on just wasn't worth it. This isn't helped by the lack of weapons I actually truly enjoyed using. I love the revolver, a great weapon because of its accuracy and stopping power, but the MP5 looking SMG felt like it did just a tad bit too little damage. Some of the more experimental and weird guns went mostly unused for me. I tend to try and save those types of things for boss fights and especially hard encounters, but when I did pick them up for a spin, they were mostly fun. I like the laser one a lot. Too bad the ammo for it is just so rare. The feedback doesn't help here either. Most of the time I feel like shots just didn't register or the game didn't show me any signs of damage. I don't hate it, I liked it for the most part, but the further in you get, the worse it gets for me. That's the short and sweet of the gunplay here. So, the movement. I love it. I know, it's archaic and intuitive. I mean, why do I turn better in the air if I strafe using the A or D key after letting go of my W key? It's actually pretty goddamn stupid if the movement system isn't something you're already comfortable with. Source movement does have a learning curve if you want to move quickly and accurately in the air. But oh my god, is it worth it. Flying past stuff at Mach 5 was great, only to quick load my way back just so I can actually go through the area properly, leading us to the level design. The levels are probably the best single part of this game. I thoroughly enjoyed exploring the earlier, more immersive parts of the game. The huge complex just works so well. Finding secrets to stock up on ammo and platforming sometimes was great. I wish more games were this linear, yet so open at the same time. Lots of great stuff here in terms of level design. It does fall off a cliff by the end. The alien locations aren't very fun to explore, but just like how Lost Izalith doesn't destroy the earlier parts of Dark Souls, you should just push through until you see the ending. So, does Half-Life still hold up in the current times? Yes, in many ways it does. The movement and shooting feel somewhat archaic, but in a very responsive and simple, to the point kind of way. I loved exploring and making my way through the very simple looking yet somehow impressively immersive world. Again, the movement, something I love delving into, is great and super expressive. But the gameplay does start to veer off by the end. I didn't like the tougher aliens and the last third or so of the game nearly as much as exploring the Black Mesa facility. The game's graphics never got in my way, but they are certainly not modern. So, should you play Half-Life? Probably not actually. Unless you want to try and break it as much as possible. Instead, you should go look at Black Mesa, the remaster of the game, with some added features and expanded and improved alien levels. It also has better graphics and an upgraded engine for all you weird graphics snobs. It's not the same game, but a better, more streamlined version of it, as far as I know. Oh, and it has a sprint key to go faster instead of a walk key to go slower, for all you movement noobs and weirdos that want to play the game as intended. The following is what I wrote on my community page and Patreon, so if you've already read it, bye, the video is over. Thanks for watching. I should explain myself. What is up with my channel and why are the uploads so far apart? So, about the output. I'm just burned out, I think. I'm having a really hard time writing about stuff right now. Work has me wanting to actually relax and sit around doing nothing when I'm free, instead of working on something creative in my time off. This is honestly the answer to both of the questions. Don't get me wrong, I love making these videos, but I wouldn't do it for the same pay I make in just over 2 hours at my actual job. It's a hobby, but right now it does feel like a bit of a second job. I don't love every part of the video making process. That wouldn't be as satisfying either way, and I'm not stopping. That's the short answer. The Dark Souls video script is over 20,000 words long, which is very far, but I still have a lot of things to write about. Not all of these are very exciting for me, that's why I've been procrastinating so much. I'll try to get it done. Sorry. If you're subscribed to my Patreon page, I understand if you don't like hearing these things. Somehow people pay me with their own money to support this hobby of mine, and that means a lot. If you want to unsubscribe, I understand. I could have done the same. Thanks for watching, sorry for the lack of stuff, and that's it.